Imagine healing yourself not with therapy or talk, not with mundane self care, but through an year of sleeping. That is the radical premise of the book, My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Ottessa Moshfegh. It is a novel that seduces with dark comedy, then crashes into an emotional abyss you never expect. What does it mean to truly disappear from the world or from oneself? Stay with me because we are about to explore one of the most unsettling and provocative novels of the last decade. Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Pooja at A Book by the Window. I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are reading good. Today we are opening the door to a novel that's as strange as it is haunting. If you are here for the introspection, wit and something that refuses to comfort you, you are in the right place. To start off this review, let's talk about the plot of the book. My Year of Rest and Relaxation follows a young woman in New York City who, despite her wealth and outwardly comfortable life, feels numb and disconnected from the world around her. She's struggling with grief, depression, and a sense of purposelessness. This is when she decides to embark on an extreme experiment, taking a year off from life through a carefully orchestrated regimen of prescription sleep. As she drifts in and out of consciousness, the novel explores themes of isolation, self-destruction, and the search for meaning in a society that is obsessed with productivity and appearances, ultimately questioning what it truly means to rest and heal. Moving on to the section that I would like to call the writing of the book. My Year of Rest and Relaxation was published on July 10th, 2018 by Penguin Press. It is the author's second novel following Elaine and takes place in New York City during 2000 and 2001, the calm before the storm of 9/11. Our narrator is unnamed and that choice serves a purpose. She is beautiful, recently graduated Columbia art history major, defined by privilege and detachment. Both her parents died, her father from cancer and her mother tragically from a suicide linked to psychiatric medication. Now wealthy, beautiful and bored, she barrels towards existential emptiness. In response, she concocts a radical escape. She asks Dr. Tootle, herself no small character, for a cocktail of sedatives to induce a year of sleep. A chemical hibernation, the plan to sleep through everything, to reset her brain, her suffering, her identity. She also quits her gallery job, dumps her designer wardrobe, and drifts between dizzying sleep cycles. Polaroid photos pointing to errands she doesn't remember. She hires artist Ping Zi to care for her and document her unconscious wanderings, erasing himself before she wakes again. Now let's talk about the highlight of the book. Here is what stands out as powerful in this novel: the tone and the prose of the book. Moshfegh's writing is razor sharp, cold, and unexpectedly funny. She writes with what critics call misanthropic aplomb and delivers every sentence as if through a toxic eyedropper. Then there is the radical rejection of wellness. In a culture obsessed with self-care, the narrator's year of numbness is a grotesque, rebellious refusal. Its idleness as a protest, an impaired no where society demands to lean in every single minute of your life. Also, personally, to add to the critical acclaim of the book, I loved how compelling yet uncomfortable the whole experience was. It's immediately intriguing, both captivating and disquieting. I did feel the story dragged a bit in the middle, but the ending completely redeemed it. To me, Moshfegh might just be the most interesting contemporary American writer on what it feels like to be alive when being alive feels terrible. Between interludes of human connection surface, Riva, her needy, messy friend, Trevor, her on-off lover in building towers, but these are fleeting. Her year ends not with renewal but with fracture. Riva dies in 9/11, Trevor is unreachable. Alone, the narrator watches footage of a woman leaping from the towers, convinced it is Riva. To move on to the section where I talk about the lowlights of the book. Of course, this book isn't for everyone. Some elements might feel jarring, like, for example, the mid-section repetition. The prose mirrors the protagonist's sedation, deliberately slow. But for some readers, this can feel dragging, repetitious, even dull. It is intentional, but not always enticing. Then there is also the emotional distance. The narrator is very aloof, pathetic, and at times cruel. She rejects intimacy or empathy. Some viewers may struggle to connect with such an emotionally cold character. There is also this critique that the supporting characters feels more like symbol than real people. Figures like Trevor and Dr. Tootle feels less like people and more like ideas. Some readers found them underdeveloped or two-dimensional. I found them meaningful in a way that brings the story together, but stylistically they are quite abstract. My final thoughts about the book. So where does this leave us? My Year of Rest and Relaxation is uncomfortable but unforgettable. It is a bold meditation on silence, privilege, grief, and the seductive allure of nothingness. I give this book 4 out of 5 stars. The ending, jarringly anchored in tragedy, breaks through the sedation. It reminds us that even if we sleep to escape, the world can still crash in. For me, the book is haunting in its honesty. It doesn't offer redemption, and that's the point. It asks, what do we give up when we give ourselves permission to disappear? And ultimately, what remains when you wake up? This is a novel for readers who are interested in dissection rather than comfort, in existential provocation more than plot. And that is it for today. Thanks for sitting with me through this deep dive into one of the boldest novels of recent memory. Have you read this book, My Year of Rest and Relaxation? Did its darkness feel freeing or suffocating? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. And if this review made you pause, or if you're curious to explore more unsettling, provocative fiction, hit that like button and subscribe for more unsparing book conversation. Thank you for watching today, and remember, sometimes staying awake is the bravest kind of self-care. I will take a leave for today. Until then, happy reading.